Hello, welcome to Choosing to Wait TV. We believe waiting is best. I'm your host, Ijele, and today we have a special guest. Stay tuned for more.
When I can't see my way, Father, I need you.
Hello, and welcome to Choosing to Wait TV. Here's our special guest. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Nime and I'm local to New York City. Happy to be here with my friend Ijele.
Yeah. So, Nime, please tell us, why are you abstinent and why do you think that's such an important thing?
Sure. Well, I made the decision because I realized that sometimes you don't have to learn from having situations occur to yourself. You can learn through other people's journey. And growing up, and people were kind enough to be able to share their experiences of intercourse in and outside of marriage, I was able to learn about their story and kind of think about myself in their shoes and what I would prefer. And especially as a Christian, I realized how those two things intertwine, listening to other people's testimonies and realizing that those part of their struggle didn't have to be the same testimony that I later told. And then even those who seemed like they had a great experience even outside of marriage, somewhere down the line it affected how they were able to relate with their partner when they were finally committed.
Wow.
So I was like, let me kind of think about it.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So have you encountered any obstacles with trying to be abstinent?
Definitely. So when I was 12, I took a class and it was called Covenant Keepers. So it was at my church, Bethel. I don't think we've been there together, but it was at Bethel, and it's here in New York City. So it was led and facilitated by older young adults, and they were married, and there were a lot of other young people in the class. So it wasn't quite huge, maybe about 20 young people in the class. So it was a bit intimate, but still a great body of young people. And we were able to just share, our experiences thus far and just kind of relate that to our faith and what Christ expects from us, and also what that challenge would be like in our world. And when I started dating, wisely, of course, there were definitely obstacles, because sometimes people who you think are like-minded as you still have some limitations on what they expect in a serious relationship. And sex seems to be a natural, thing that people expect. So sometimes you have to remind yourself of your value even as you're trying to open yourself up to other people.
Awesome. Do you believe sex before marriage is wrong?
I believe that sex before marriage is a covenant that can affect the health of your relationship in the future, when you actually feel that you're ready to enter a solid bond with someone, hence marriage. So for me, the temptations of an attractive person with different elements that make them who they are don't surpass my expectation of myself, the way I know that God views me, and the way I view my relationship with Him, and the way that I view my relationship with myself, knowing that that covenant is something that I don't want to break. And so therefore, for me, I believe sex outside of marriage is wrong. Yes.
So did you grow up in a household that advocated abstinence?
I did. I grew up in a household, like you said, my parents were like, make sure you don't do anything. But at the same time, my parents are very much able to listen to what we as developing young adults have to say. They don't drown out our words. It became a personal preference through those influences, of course, but I never felt chastised or mandated or locked down into it, because it became something that I desired for myself. So with that being the priority, it seemed natural to then flow into what my parents expected, but then more so it was what Nime for sure
decided for yourself.
For myself.
And that's important, because sometimes And as parents, I mean, you want to teach your kids the right thing and tell them what's right, what's wrong to prevent them from having other obstacles in the way. But it's good that eventually abstinence became something that you wanted to do for yourself and not because mommy and daddy said so.
Yeah, definitely, because the temptations have been there, you know, in the past or, you know, not too long recently, you know, in the sense, but when it's a choice for yourself, regardless of what it is, if it's like, you know, wanting to be natural or wanting to like lose weight or wanting to be abstinent or wanting to like try to cook healthier meals, like, if it's not a choice for yourself, the obstacles are going to present themselves and you're going to fall because it's someone else's desire. So
that's true. And the thing is, temptation is going to come. Don't you can bet on that. Temptation will come. Enemy will bring that. You just have to know what you believe in and know what you stand on and then decide, you know, not to be tempted. So what do you believe the purpose of sex is?
So I think the purpose of sex is to unite two people physically in an intimate way, and allow them to share the passions that they have for each other emotionally and romantically, through, I know, a really great opportunity, and then definitely also to produce and to be able to have children. You know, it's a soul tie. I believe it's a soul tie that allows you to be at your most vulnerable, but at one of your peaks. You know, and then allows you to have the opportunity to bring a child into the world of children, to continue that love, that bond. You know.
Do you believe media, music, or television entertainment has influenced you to think about sex or desire to do it?
Yeah, I do. Definitely. Like even now, like there's sometimes when with keeping in mind my decision, I have to like make sure that there's certain things that I don't watch or certain things that I don't listen to, or I try to watch the time I'm listening to it, because you know at night sometimes you're thinking about, you know, and especially when you're in a relationship as I am, you know, you kind of have to just be like, okay, this conversation can't go.
Shut it down.
So certain music, yes, certain artists are very explicit and they're very forward and their preferences. So for me, if I take that in, after a while, it starts resounding, you know, resonating rather, and then I'm like, you know. So I just I have learned to choose other types of entertainment or vary them so that I don't have like a constant reminder of doing stuff.
Yeah. My last question for you is, what advice do you have to other teens and young adults who want to be abstinent? What do you advise them to do, or how can they be that person?
I think one of the biggest advice I can think of is consider the company that you keep. There's nothing wrong with having a diversity in your friends and people in your social circle, but the people who are most closest to you, even more so the person who you entrust your heart into, the people who you really allow yourself to open up with and be as vulnerable as you can, unconsciously or consciously, try as much as possible to make sure that those people share your values. So I had to go through a values asset when I was in college and kind of like pinpoint what are things that are really important to me. And I can remember like the solid 5 to this day. And when you identify those people that are most closest to you, really try to make sure that because you guys share the same values, you guys are somewhat responsible for empowering each other and for keeping each other accountable and supporting each other, the ups and downs and all of that. So if your main life priorities vary, then a goal like abstinence would be really challenging because those people will naturally seem like they have your best interest at heart. So situations that you don't necessarily want to go in because you kind of entrusted yourself into this person and vice versa, you're going to just be easily swayed. But if you know the person who got your back, like Jelly right here, is someone who genuinely, cares for you.
I do.
So, so you're gonna know that your priorities are respected by them, and something like abstinence is gonna be something they support and remind you, even when you're real tempted. Be like, girl, hold on.
That man is fine, but I'm gonna say no.
Yes. So the company.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yep. So that's it.
That's the story.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching Choosing to Wait TV. This is
Nime.
So you guys stay tuned, and I'll talk to you guys later. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.